Oh, for fall's sake.
Welcome everybody to Nine's Corner. I hope you are feeling well, doing well, and have had a wonderful weekend so far. And I thought we better get into a reading because there are 43 missing files. And I find it very interesting that there's 43 missing files because 4 being stability, 3 being planning, and then together it creates the number 7, which is about evolution, which is on a spiritual plane, kind of going into becoming our true selves. Or at least that's what I took from it. That was my kind of instinctual thing. So I thought, okay, we have questions, and I wrote them down in a list. I should take a picture and just show you the list. So first, who signed out the papers? All the papers, all the secret documents, files, everything that Trump had, he had to get it from somebody, or somebody had to go and get it from somebody. There has to be a paper trail. So I just want to know what's happening. Why aren't we hearing about not just the fact that he had them, how did he get them? Like there's a breakdown in the system somewhere. So let's have a look at that. What's going on? Really, Sadie, now you want to go out? Oh, Lord. I try to come to the garage to get a break so that I don't hear mom, mom, mom. And now I got the dog scraping at the door. Scraping at the door, scratching at the door, but I say scraping. Je m'excuse for the interruption. So the question was, who signed out those papers? Who signed out all the documents, the 43 documents that are stolen, concealed, sold, or disposed of? Let's have a look and see. First card out, we got the World. So there's an obsession with Trump. This has to refer to the cult of Trump. This is literally not being able to see the future because you are so focused into the past being Trump, Trump's promises. So we're dealing with a Trumpster, a true Trumpster, and we got secrets. The High Priestess, obviously we have secrets because there's 43 stolen files, but with the High Priestess here, there's a feeling of sabotage. Where is the paper trail? Why don't we have a paper trail here? Because I see, first off, we got the cult of Trump. So there's somebody who is, who is loyal to Trump. But there's sabotage here. So they knowingly got somebody to get into the paper. Oh, I mean, suffice it to say, it's going to be a Republican, but it's going to be a true Trumpster. And this is kind of like a hidden trail. Confusion. Page of Wands. There's the information. We know the information. And the Knight of Wands. Weird, because we got the Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands, and they're almost like looking at each other. But the Knight of Wands is going to win out. So this is like, here's the information that was there. Here's the Knight of Wands who took out the information. So the Knight of Wands is a true Trumpster, somebody who is loyal to Trump, sabotaged something. So maybe the paper trail is sabotaged. Or the High Priestess could be a feeling of, look, we have to take care of Trump and deal with what Trump has done, but we also have to not sacrifice the United States, the secrets of the United States, even when it comes to how the paper trail happened. Maybe there's some kind of indecision as to what happened. Maybe they're looking at having a spy in the camp and not wanting to kind of let us know that so they can take care of it and then tell us about it after. There's definitely something happening, and here I can feel, especially with the Five of Wands, that feeling of competition that really could get ugly. So I mean, that's the best we can get. That's the best we can get for who did it. So my next question will be, do they know what was in the missing documents? Do they know what was contained in those files, how it affected or who it affected? What did they know about the documents? What did they know about the documents? What do they know about the documents? Three of Swords. So, like a feeling of having to surrender, a feeling of having to salvage what you can. And there will be at least 3 documents that they really and truly are not sure about. So I kind of get the feeling like they'll have an understanding about what was in the majority of the documents, or what should have been in the majority of the documents. They may even have copies. I mean, there's so many ways that, you know, the world is so plugged in. I'm not. But I feel like the Three of Swords is letting me know that there's going to be things that are not resolved. And I'm thinking that, you know, we've always wondered what were the conversations between Trump and Putin, and nobody was allowed to hear them. So I feel that there could be documents about that, or about secret things that happened, people that were meeting. And then you got your major Trumpster, your loyal Trumpster, somebody who's in there making sure that any documents that could go against them would be destroyed. But I feel like there's going to be 3 documents that they're just not going to know what's in them. Oy. All right. So the next question. Do other countries... Oh, I just dropped a card. Sorry, guys. Literally the sun just screaming yes. I was just about to say, do other countries or allies have anything to be worried about because of these papers exposing or hurting them? And as you saw me try to shuffle, and I got the sun. Exposure, exposure, turn it. I was going to say something worse, and then I changed it. Sugar and spice. We got judgment crossing it. So the exposure will be about something to deal with. Judgment. Exposure as to how other people, other countries were dealing with different businesses, different what have you. How they got their information, or, you know, things that are going on that maybe other countries didn't know. For Christ's sake, this exposure, whatever's going to be happening with the allies, I think a lot of these papers that Donald Trump has dealt with, sold, destroyed, have shown, and definitely have shown to Russia, Saudi Arabia, probably even China. But we're looking at some major arcanas there. Wow. There was a lot of exposure about the U.S. We have the 10 of Cups, and we're looking and living in the year of 2022, which is the year of the family. I feel that the judgment and the exposure has to deal with the people, and we can see what's happening in the United States, that Donald Trump, due to his presidency, just due to the fact that he exists, has created issues that are going to affect other countries, but it's also going to affect the United States. Oh, obviously, but where are we going with this? Seeing things, sacrifices having to be made. Two of Wands, there's papers that have exposed plans, exposed how other countries were planning to create wealth, to create jobs, to create industries. A lot of exposure. Sorry, lovers. Exposure over partnerships, maybe that weren't in the light. Oh, I really feel like he's really shown, because this is almost like problems, that something from the past that maybe Putin wanted to know about, or like information that's past, that's happened, that Trump happened to get into. Like, I mean, I can't think of something, but like, say if I was talking to Trump, I'd be like, can you get into the JFK papers and see what happened? So I feel here that there were things from the past that other countries, Saudi Arabia, Russia, but I'm just thinking Putin kind of said, I want to know what happened. So they didn't even just look at the things that are happening now. They looked at things that happened in the past. Wow. Quick movement. So looking at travel, movement, plans that have been made. Maybe this has to refer to Putin being actually told about certain things to deal with Ukraine. The Eight of Swords showing up here, really kind of just, with the Eight of Swords, we've, recently heard about a number of gas company, high people in high executives in gas companies who have mysteriously died for unknown reasons, some being suicide. And I even heard about one case where a man, his wife, and children all committed suicide. So it was an actual family. This is that. But because I'm reading about, the effect on other countries and stuff, with the Eight of Swords here, this could literally be showing the effect of how it's going to affect CIA agents, and affect, people who are underground that are doing work that we're not even aware of. Has become something to fear. I mean, I remember like a year ago, they were talking about a number of CIA agents in the US that had been killed, disappeared, or had become double agents. So I think this shows that what Donald Trump has done has really affected the agents. I mean, I don't know how to reference them when it comes to all the different countries in the world, but, the agents, CIA agents, there's exposure there about specific people, and these people are being killed, tortured. I mean, truly. The Four of Cups, forcing countries to have to change some of their plans. Countries being forced to take less than what they were expecting because other countries got to take advantage of them. Is this going to affect other countries more than we expected? I'm a little bit taken back, because I really got the chills when I got this card. Because literally, my next question is this why so many CIA agents have gone missing, killed, or made double agents in the US over the last year? And that has answered it for me. I think there's going to be, this is so much bigger than just the US. It's going to affect countries. And I'm worried about the fact that he had secret papers about France and Macron. And I said, I thought it was going to be superficial, but then I saw another layer that could be political. So now it just comes down to, why hasn't Trump been arrested? Why wasn't he arrested yesterday? I was watching Glenn Kushner on, Justice Matters. And I was just like getting all riled up, like, why isn't Trump in jail? So now we're going to ask, why isn't Trump in jail? Why isn't Trump in jail? Why isn't Trump in jail? There has to be a reason why they're keeping him. The moon, having to be neutral, having to balance things out. I really feel they're doing it slow and steady because they're worried about retaliation, not just from Trump's cult, because that's being called on for, by Lindsay and everybody else. But I think this is also worried about what Trump knows and what he's willing to divulge. How crazy can this man get? And it's not just him, because then, you think like, oh, cut off the head of the snake. But then they don't know how Trump's family will retaliate, how the Republican Party would retaliate. So there's almost a feeling of stay calm, calm the beast. You kind of got to go in and sneak in the middle of the night to get things done. So I would love to know, what did you think of Biden's address to the nation? How did you feel about it? Did you feel empowered? Did you feel it was dark? So I'm going to look and see, how did the Republicans feel about it, Democrats feel about it, and how will it affect the midterms? I personally, I didn't like the lighting. I know that's a Republican point that they're talking about, but it really was a little bit dark, a little bit too red for me. I would have loved for it to be a little bit more, I don't know, just lit up a little bit nicer than the red. I don't know. I just didn't like it, but that's just my opinion. So let's have a look and see, and I'll see later in the comments what you think. What do the Republicans feel about it? What do the Republicans feel about Biden's address? What did the Republicans feel about Biden's address? I think they were surprised by the pushback. I really do. Nine of Pentacles. They're going to use this, turn this around to promote themselves. They're going to use this to say, hey, look at them trying to separate us. Look what they're saying about us. This is really going to be they're just taking the position of, I'm going to use this and run with this and promote myself. Wow. Interesting, Republicans. It's funny how they can just turn things around. So how do the Democrats feel? We have the Six of Swords. I feel as though are looking at this and saying, yes, darlings, this is about time that we push back. There's no way we're going to win by just keeping doing what we're doing. We need to change it. And I feel like the Democrats are ready, willing, and able to push back. So I feel as though they know that, look, if we push back right now, if we kind of start a little bit of a fuss and a fight right now to push against them, that it will lead to calmer times, calmer waters. So I have embraced the Biden message and have looked at it as, yes, we are going to fight for our country. We are going to fight for our democracy. And I think the Republicans on the opposition side will say, hey, this is a way to promote ourselves and say, look what they're doing. Look what he's saying. He's trying to divide us. He says this, that, and the other thing. When look at what Trump has done over the last number of years. I mean, he has crucified the U.S. He has created a monster of a situation that we have no idea how it's all going to fall down. And for how long are we going to all be affected by it? How many dominoes has he built up that's going to have to fall and fall back on the U.S. and the U.S. allies? Ooh, how is it going to affect the 2020? So we got the 10 of Wands. Here I see it as though the Democrats are just, slowly but surely, just picking away, taking away, cutting away at what the Republicans have been putting out, the misleading, the misinformation. And they're just slowly trying to tell the truth, to get people to see the difference. But you have to realize that this is the 10 of Wands. This is the height of pressure, the height of when you're just stressed out to the max. But this is when you need to hold on. That change is possible. Hold on, and you're going to get to the next step. So I feel as though this is the beginning. Biden's address to the nation has actually started the chipping away of the obstacles for the Democrats to get ahead in the 2020 or the 2022 midterms. All right, that sounds good to me. Oh, yay. Okay, I'll leave it there, but there's just so much there, like holy sugar. And it's hard because you're just like, you're feeling the energies kind of going, argh. So for our next reading, we're going to look at Putin. Putin's revenge.
Like, depending on how he does in Ukraine, he's got a plan for that. If he doesn't do well in Ukraine, then you might see some revengeful things because he's not thinking straight, and this is thinking about wanting to take revenge on those you feel are disloyal.
Next, we're going to talk about Putin, who has had 8 executives from gas companies that have died under unknown reasons, suicide, even a family, a mother, father, and children had a family suicide. And they all had one thing in common, was that they did not support the Ukraine war. Putin is a very dangerous man. Always has been, always will be. Winter is coming. He has the pipeline and he says, hey, we need to take it offline and do a little bit of work. And then a second time comes, he said, we're going to take it offline and do a little bit of work. And now they're looking at telling, you know, the European nations that, hey, we're probably going to have blackouts during the winter. And I'm like, why can't they do it during the fall when it's not as harsh? But I don't know. I don't know. So they're going to be looking at trying to, you know, deal with an energy loss. And depending on how the winter goes, Putin will be in control. So I want to know, will Putin gain control against European countries and push back on the sanctions because of the winter coming and the need for energy? How will this affect? I guess I'm basically looking at how are the European countries going to deal? Will they get through this winter even though they're not, I think it's like 75 and 81% full of energy? So let's just have a look and see what's going to happen. So, look, you're going to have people who are going to experience blackouts. They're not going to be happy about it. Really, to the point where I think you may see some movement. You may actually see people saying, you know what, I don't want this anymore. I don't know what they're doing. Get your shit in gear. But in the meantime, I'm going somewhere else. Wow. Ooh. Oh, honeys. We got the 10 of Swords, but in this deck, there's 2 10 of Swords. One says, everything is going to be fine. This is this one. Are there going to be obstacles? You betcha. Are there going to be people that are going to be put in harm's way, that are going to have to suffer through? And guarantee you me, it's not going to be people with money. It's going to be people that are just average Joes just trying to make ends meet. It's going to hurt. It's going to pinch. And it is not going to be something that we're going to be dealing with just for now. It's going to be a long-term effect. But the eventuality will be everything is fine. I think that this is going to be a turning point, although it's going to hurt. This will be a turning point in Europe, in European nations, to realize that they can't depend on Russia. So although it's going to be a while for them to turn it around, this energy issue the people being affected. Unfortunately, it's going to cause some harm. I even see some people possibly dying due to the outages, not having heat, whatnot. The Two of Cups, there's going to be a partnership that European nations are going to make. It's not going to be with Russia. It's going to be something positive. So there's going to be a solution. Unfortunately, we got to go through, this harsh time to really get people saying, hey, listen, we need a solution. Somebody's going to come. Somebody's going to help. A lot of this has to deal with money. You know this. Ooh, there's going to be a solution that's going to be offered. The Page of Cups. The European countries are going to say, yes, okay, we're interested. How do we deal with it? And the two of them are turning and looking at each other. Yay! Ooh! Judgment. Guys, it's going to be hard. It's going to be rushed. It's going to be things not happening that we like. It's going to be hard times. I'm telling you that. But this tells me, judgment tells me that things are going to get turned around. Things are going to happen. Everything's going to be fine, just like this has said. Everything's going to be fine after a lot of hardship, after a lot of obstacles. But the government's going to get in trouble here. There's going to be judgment based on the government, the European countries I'm talking about. People are going to be questioned and said, listen, it's not like we all of a sudden found out Putin was this bad entity. He's always been who he is. There's always been a question around him. So why in the hell haven't you been doing anything? Why has it taken for people to have to lose their lives for you to do something? Because you're more interested in keeping your wealth than taking care of people, because this is a worldwide problem. The hugest problem that affects each and every one of us is that our governments are set up, whoever's in power, Republicans, Democrats, all over the world. It doesn't matter what party that you vote for. It's like there's this entity, this world entity, that no matter who gets in power, they're going to control the narrative. And if you got people that are trying to change the narrative, well, you're going to have a long time where there's obstacles and there's got to be whistleblowers and we've got to support these people. But I truly believe for the European countries, it's going to be hard. This winter's not going to be nice, and there are going to be some casualties. But this is going to open up the government's eyes. It's going to open up government files. There's going to be investigations into the countries and how they dealt with this, because they knew this problem was coming and they dealt with it. They didn't deal with it. So they're going to have to be examined as to why didn't you do it? Why wasn't there a second plan? It's all talk and no action. But I truly feel with the judgment card here, we're looking at the government having to be looked at. There's going to be legalities happening here. Oh my God. And at the end, when all this unravels, you're going to see money being given back to the people, because they're going to say, look, this was a big disadvantage to you and you were taking advantage of. So whoever this partnership's going to be and have a solution for your money issues, there's going to be a review as to what the government did, and there's going to be money put back into people's pockets, because the review is going to show that they were shady, that they were shameless in their grab for wealth, and that they did a disservice that goes beyond just being shady. They crossed the line. It's going to be investigated, and people are going to get money back, but it's going to be in the future. It's going to take a long time, but it started. So I'm exhausted. All right. I am going to talk about one more thing. Did you hear about the Meghan Markle podcast? I tried to watch it. I tried to listen to it, and I saw bits and pieces of it, but I actually tried to listen to it. And
this ad was some kind of ingenious piece of marketing. Actually, it was just the opposite. So here's what happened. I was in the 6th grade. I'm sitting in my classroom, and we were watching TV when a commercial came on.
The gloves are coming off. Women are fighting greasy pots and pans with Ivory Clear.
I was furious. Women? Did I really just hear that guy say just women as in only women? Only women. Women are the only ones who wash dishes. And then I heard them. These two boys in my class breathing life into my biggest fear. They said, yeah, that's where women belong, in the kitchen. Oh man, this did not sit well with 11-year-old me.
It was hard. I mean, I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt, but the fact that she did try to say, hey, they were as excited to find out about my marriage as they were for Mendel to be freed. It was over the top, embarrassing. And I want to know, with all her comeuppance, why does she feel the need to grandioso her stories so that she looks like she's doing something wrong? King of Cups, she's so in control. She feels that she's in control of the narrative, and that's why you're going to see this happening. Four of Wands, she is the person who wears the pants in the family. I think that they really and truly need to step back from being public right now. I think she's doing a disservice to them by being out and about. Everything's going to be fine. I got a feeling that her podcast is not going to go well. There might be money flung behind it just because of who she is, and it's not because it's going to do well. It's going to be because, they just don't want to embarrass her. But this is going to come to an end. But do not shed any tears for her. She's going to be fine. She's going to have the money. She's going to have what she needs. Ace of Pentacles. They have money. I mean, I laugh when you see videos and they're like, they're poor. Poor in comparison to whom? Poor in comparison to William and Kate? I want to know, let's put these cards back in now that we're talking about them, and I'm just interested to know. Does Harry regret breaking up his relationship with his family? Does he regret breaking his relationship with his brother and with his father? Is he feeling like he's missing his home country? Because I know for me, I get it in me that I need to go home to Newfoundland, and come hell or high water, what money or not, I got to get myself there. I love these cards, but they are so hard for me to shuffle. So what I've been doing is that I'll shuffle them up a little bit like this, and then I fan them out and pick the card, because that's what I find easiest to do with this deck. So that's what I'm going to do to answer the next couple of questions. So, does Prince Harry regret the distance between him and his family, his brother and his father? The Magician. Interesting. I think he's very aware that he is responsible for this separation. So he also knows that he has the ability to fix this situation. Interesting. Very interesting. How is he feeling about Meghan Markle? How is his relationship with his wife? How is his relationship with his wife since, they've moved around? They were in Canada, now they're in the US, and he's no longer part of the royal family. They're not doing royal family duties as such. How is their relationship? The Hangman. Oik. Oi. Okay, just because I was talking about Harry, I automatically got a feeling of sacrifice. I really feel like right now he's feeling like he's sacrificed for this relationship, that maybe it was a little bit too much. But he's the magician, so he has the ability to fix it. He knows it's on his shoulders. I think this guy has had enough therapy and has enough awareness that he understands his part in every aspect of his life. It's very he's very aware of it. But I think when it comes to his relationship, he kind of sees it as a sacrifice now and maybe seeing it in a different way. Is it a positive way, negative way? Oh no, it's the Ten of Swords. And it's not everything's going to be fine. We got the Ten of Swords. Oy. So I think in their personal relationship, the strains, and even the financial strains, because I mean, as much as you and I would be like laughing if we had their kind of money, for them it is a real issue. But I think they're going through some really strong personal issues between the two of them. What's affecting their relationship? Why are they having difficulties? Why are they having difficulties? The Seven of Swords, winning at all costs. Ooh. Oh, don't kill the messenger, but I got a funny feeling that he is having some second thoughts about having left the family. I think he misses his brother, he misses his sister-in-law, he misses his father, he misses his life. And this has really put a major strain on their relationship. But I got a feeling that Meghan is sort of like winning at all costs. We're going to get ahead. We're going to get the money. We're going to be a family unit. I really feel like she is the push. And just there's love there. She loves him and he loves her. But I think after time, the relationship has changed. And she is somebody who is very organized and who is very, you can almost feel it like she's in control, to the point of being too much in control. And now her mission now is to show them, look how we're doing, rather than focusing in on the relationship. I don't think she's acknowledging his loss. I don't think she's acknowledging what he's missing. And that's really becoming a factor in their relationship. The Hermit, yeah. There's a lack of communication here with them. I think he's truly feeling separation, anxiety for his family. I think that at times he's going off and being introverted and not really being present for her. And yet his light will always shine on his kids. That's the automatic feeling I got. So I think for the two of them, they're having some major issues right now. Truly, with the Four of Wands coming out, I really and truly, if I could talk to them and tell them what's best for their relationship, what's best for their family, back away. You have enough money to find somewhere where you can just go away for a little while. That's not in the limelight. Let him, your husband Harry, work on his relationship. He's the magician. And I guarantee you, Meghan, if you guys end up splitting up, you will not be the winner in this. He will go back to his home country. He will be embraced as the prodigal son. And he will have all the favors given back to him, especially if his brother becomes king. You will be the scapegoat. So I'm telling you, if you want your family to be together, take some time off, go relax, work on your relationship, work on your communication, let him work on his relationship within his father and his brother and such. I truly feel that strongly in my heart. Lordy, I was not planning on going into Markle, but it just kind of like, yes, I'm feeling the feels and I want to keep going. And now I'm going to keep going. So for those who know about Sister Wives, you'll get my reading. When I used to have cable, I don't have cable anymore. I used to watch TLC and the Sister Wives came on it, and I could not understand for the life of me why any of them would want to be with Cody. But hey, there it is, and I was watching it, and I really like Christine. I like Christine and Janelle. They were my favorite. I wasn't a fan of Mary, but then Robin came into his life, and it was like he had found his soulmate. He even says that. So I was, going through YouTube, and all of a sudden it came up, Christine left him, and I was like, yes, darling, yes, good for you. Go do your life. You still got lots of years to live. Find somebody else that loves you. You deserve it. So now I thought, let's do a reading and find out what's going to happen with Mary, what's going to happen with Janelle, what's going to happen with Cody, and by extension, Robin, or we could pick 2 cards for them. But for those who know what I'm talking about, you'll get the reading. And for those who don't, just skip over. It's not a big deal, but I want to know. So let's look at Mary. What's going to happen with Mary? 2 of Pentacles. Wow. I think she's probably going to be the last one standing. Her and Robin are really good friends. And for years, she's been there just as being the first wife only in name, not really having any kind of relationship with Cody. Personally, I think she has the feels for Robin a little bit more than what she's willing to admit. I'm going to ask Tarot right now because curiosity is on me. Does Mary have stronger feelings for Robin than just friendship? Does Mary have feelings stronger for Robin than just friendship? The Magician. Interesting. Very interesting. I truly think that Mary would like a relationship with Robin, but it is friendship, but she's in love with her. It's not a sexual love, but she does love her. And she is really there for her. She wants to be there for her. It's almost like she has a lot invested in both Cody and Robin. But with Robin, in a weird way, it's almost like she's okay with the idea of Robin being Cody's soulmate. Mary loves Cody enough to... No, she doesn't love Cody. It's almost like she loves Robin enough to allow this to be what it is. But with Cody, she still has emotional investment, emotional issues with him. And my advice for Mary, if you want to go on, you better finish and close the door to your relationship with Cody. But for now, you're just going to be hanging on. You're probably going to be the last man standing. When it comes to Janelle, Queen of Pentacles, Janelle is only worried about the money, about the finances. Janelle is thinking about how she's going to survive, how her family's going to survive. She is all about the money. So I think she's going to be the one that will kind of stick around, but it's for the finances. Page of Pentacles. Finances. And even though her and Cody are no longer in a relationship, they are going to still work together in future projects. Like even, it's weird. Janelle, she's the money person. And with the Page of Pentacles here, I feel as though right now, she's not dealing with what's happening with the wives and all that. She's just thinking about the money. And I think she's looking at possibly doing something, writing a book or getting invested in some kind of project. But she will work with Cody again. Oy. So Christine, what's happening with Christine? Justice. Aw, Christine, you are so lucky to get out when you did. You should have gotten out years ago. You are in the right. You will be fine. Things will balance out for you. It's going to take some time. When it comes to Cody, Seven of Swords, losing a lot. I really feel like Christine's gone. Mary will stick around, but mostly for Robin, and Janelle is going to stick around for the finances and be part of that. So they're just going to be on the peripheral, doing their own life, living their own life. He feels like, oh God, his energy is so narcissistic. And his feelings are like, I gave up my life for you. Look what I've sacrificed for all of you. And yet he's just happy to be running away with Robin. So let's look at Robin. Well, how does she feel about all of this? How's her life going to be? She's the Empress. She is the everything, the be-all for Cody. She is his soulmate as far as she's concerned, as far as he's concerned. So she's going to move on and be with Cody. She's going to be the head of the household, the head of the family. The Queen of Wands. Oh my God, she's the queen, queen, queen. She will get and do whatever she wants. How will her and Cody be over time? What's going to happen between her and Cody? Ooh, Two of Swords. I kind of thought that maybe Robin's feelings of, oh, I really want to keep the family together were kind of for television. But it's not. She wants to be number one. She wants to be Cody's everything, but she likes having the other women around. So she feels conflicted, and that's going to, because the other ladies have so much left in their relationships, financial responsibilities, emotional responsibilities. I mean, they can't get on and move on without dealing with all of that. The Page of Wands, I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to hear about her having yet another baby. How old is she? How old is Robin? Can she have another baby? Because it's really looking like possible another baby. So our last question should be, will the show keep going? Will the show keep going with all the drama of losing the wives? How can you have sister wives if there's no true sister wives? What's going to happen with the show? As long as the show makes money, they will be held on. As long as the show creates drama, they will hold on. But as soon as they see the show flaking, they will get rid of it. You are just a commodity, and we can switch you out for something different tomorrow. You don't have a lot of weight here. It's not going to last forever, but it's lasting as long as they can get their money. There's a real sense of taking advantage of everybody. What was the effect of the show on the family? What was the effect of the show on the sister wives and Cody? Three of Swords. I mean, it's so obvious that 3 out of the 4 wives have had their heart broken. My advice for them would be clean up any residual issues you have concerning Cody, your lives, your finances, everything. And realize that after the issues, after the problems, after the heartache, you will rebuild and you will go into a time of rest and rejuvenation. And with that, you will be, awoken to fight another day. But the reasoning for their loss was, 1, the show, the 3 wives have their heart broken. But even outside of the show, the 3 of Swords shows me that whether TLC had the show or not, the fact that Robin came into the picture, they would have had their families break up, and maybe break up in a more, would have broke up earlier and in a more dramatic way. It's like things have been kept going and abused, and abused doesn't have to be physical. It could be like abusing people mentally, creating the narrative that you want to see with each wives and affecting their lives and affecting their relationships. And, it's sad. It's really, really sad. I literally just said the three are going to go through major heartbreak, but then there's going to come a time of rest and recuperation. This is going to happen. There's going to be rest and recuperation. Fudge almighty. Just tell me. One of the sister wives are going to get sick and need an operation. Her life is going to be in the balance. It's going to be a situation of, we don't know. It's a touch and go. But they are going to get sick. They are going to need surgery. The moon. Oh, no. The Wheel of Fortune. The Knight of Pentacles. Hopefully they'll be able to find something. One of them are going to get sick. One of them are sick, and it's going to be a real physical ailment in the future. So with that, I'm just going to stop that reading. I hope, truly, I hope for every person involved, Cody, Mary, Janelle, Christine, and Robin, I hope they all, you know, find a conclusion for where they are in their lives, that whatever they do, they find happiness, true happiness, outside of the characters that have been portrayed in the show. And they're real people. They're truly real people behind the scenes, and I wish them all the best. I truly do. So with that, my darling friends, I have our unity candle lit for each and every one of us. And I thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed our video. So give me a like, a subscribe, and until the next time we chat, cheerio and take care, my friends.